Hi, this is John Hawkins Jr. with Gateway Counseling Center, and welcome to our second YouTube Live here. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and certified addiction professional in the state of Florida, owner of Gateway Counseling Center, where we do individual, family, couples counseling. I specialize in working with all types of trauma, PTSD, addictions, relationship therapy, and also helping people overcome their performance blocks, like entrepreneurs, pro athletes, golfers. Work with a lot of pro golfers down here in South Florida. And the purpose of doing this is to give you an opportunity to ask me any questions you have, get emails during the week, and try to respond to a couple questions and answer any live questions that come in. And also explain a little bit more about some of the things I hear on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis, where questions people have or things that they've been struggling to get the right information from. So with that being said, then the first couple questions I have this week, again, you can reach me to get me questions during the week. You can post them on the Mind Zone group on Facebook or John H at gatewaycounselingcenter.com. You can DM me at John the Therapist on Instagram, or Gateway C Center on Instagram, or Gateway Counseling Center page on Facebook. So two of the questions I have this week, one is, again, I get asked this a lot, is what is EMDR? More and more people are asking me this question. When I first learned EMDR, not that many clients knew what it was, but it is a really powerful, amazing type of therapy. It's the most researched therapy in history. What it stands for is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And so that's a big chunk of words there. What it is this woman named Francine Shapiro, about 40 years ago or so, accidentally figured out through her own life how to access the system that we dream with. So when we dream, it's not some, crazy, deep, esoteric meanings about a sky means this or a snake means that. There is none of that is the truth. What it is our brain is taking in, while we're sleeping, all the experience, all the emotions we go through throughout the day that we don't get a chance to, process during the daytime. So, things that maybe I felt some sadness today, or excitement, or I went through something traumatic that didn't really get felt through to completion. That's what we call emotional processing, is to feel my emotion all the way through. So I didn't get to do that. So my brain is trying to complete it while I'm sleeping. So what happens is, when you see an image in your mind, the brain doesn't know real from non-real. It still feels as if it were real. It's connected to our emotions. So your brain will put up like a canvas of images to project your emotions up onto. So what she discovered was how to access the system. So while we're dreaming and our brain's putting up this storyboard, our eyes are moving all over the place. It's what rapid eye movement, REM sleep, some of you are familiar with that. So what it's doing is it's integrating or activating right and left sides of the brain, going up and down. So it's trying to take all this stuff that gets unresolved, it's kind of more of lower in the right brain. And so it wants to move it up and down and integrate it right and left to a completion, where we keep taking from our experience, learning, adapting, growing as human beings to increase our survival chances and the ability to live a more meaningful life. So the story goes, she had cancer and got this diagnosis, was obviously very upset. She lived in California, was walking in a park, something caused her eyes to flutter back and forth, and she felt this sense of relief and thought, man, what in the world was that? So she got together with some researchers. I don't know if she was a professor at the time, but then really started exploring this phenomenon she experienced, and after a period of time developed this whole therapy called EMDR. So the way it works is, I'll give you an example of a client that I had a few years ago, where she got in a car wreck, got PTSD from the car wreck. So for every time she tried to drive, she would get a panic attack. She went to see another therapist weekly for 6 months, was no closer to driving her car. Every time she would try to drive the car, she'd get another panic attack, and now she's getting really depressed because she hasn't been able to drive her car for 6 months, feels isolated. And so her therapist referred to me as a trauma specialist. So she came in, she told me, some details of the accident, I did about 25 minutes of EMDR. She left here driving and came back probably 2 or 3 times, asked me for cards, was like an agent for me for a while. So what I did with her is I said, okay, tell me, give me the image in your mind's eye right before something happened, right before you knew like, oh crap, like this is not good, I'm gonna get in a wreck. So she's like, okay, I can see it in my mind's eye. I said, all right, as you focus on that image, tell me when you can feel something in your body. Okay, I feel like a 6 of 10 here. I said, all right, what I want you to do is as you focus on that image and you feel this sensation in your body, I want you to just let go. I'm gonna have you use a pointer, I can use my fingers, whatever. Follow this pointer and just kind of let go as best you can. We're just gonna track whatever you notice, whether it's body sensations, images, spontaneous thoughts, any part of your experience, but you're just letting go and letting it happen. So we started doing this, jumped to another image of the accident, went to some other things. She felt some different body sensations, some heat, some tremors release. It's the bodies are just releasing all this energy that got triggered and split off during the trauma. And I can explain more about that at another time, how that process works and how PTSD develops. So we just did that. You just do rounds of that until it's a 0. So now I have her go back at the end, make sure as hard as she can, it's like, I want you to try to bring up anxiety, try to bring up some negative emotion. Nothing. I feel totally calm, safe. And then typically you would ask the person, what would you like to believe now? So if they felt unsafe, maybe they'll have a counter belief that I'm safe, I'm a survivor, whatever it is that kind of spontaneously comes to them. And then use that same process of some eye movements to really deepen that so it feels that way, not just I think that way, but my whole body feels like strong, safe. And then that's it. It's a wrap. Will never affect you again the rest of your life, no matter what it was. You are done. You're past it. You're good to go. She's never come back for another session. I wish her well. I've never seen her since. Doing that with hundreds of people, not one person has ever come back to me and said, this came back up for me. So that is the process of EMDR. So you can do it for single incident traumas like that. You can do it for a decision you have to make. You can do it for shame. You can do it for grief. You can do it for anything. So particularly somebody like grief, you can take that and really expedite your process. So inside of us is this system that just knows how to process, reset everything, release everything. We just kind of access it, get out of the way, let it do its thing. And another therapy I do that is an evolution of that is called brainspotting. And it, rather than doing the eye movements, what you're doing is you take and say, okay, like just like when she felt that 6 of 10, I would say, all right, I'm gonna come across with that pointer real slow. Tell me when you feel this the strongest. And you'll get to a spot where then all of a sudden, okay, right there. So then rather than movement, I said, just focus on that spot and just let your mind go and let whatever comes in your awareness, just track it, notice it. If you want to tell me what you're experiencing, great. If you don't, great. There's no way to mess it up. It's just so much room. Your brain and body just know how to repair and fix everything. So it's so rapid. I mean, I could do things with someone in one session so many times that take, like in her case, 6 months, getting nowhere, 25 minutes, she's driving. That's the power of what you have inside you. Everything you have to need to heal is right there already. You just need someone to help you tap into it. That is the key. I'm writing a book of that title right now, where I want to really explain some of this stuff in more detail and give people practical exercises that they can really do a lot of this on their own, unless it's traumatic and they need somebody like me. That second question I have, so I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about EMDR, email me at jonh@gatewaycounseling.com. I'll respond to you for sure. If you want to DM me at John the Therapist, again, I always respond as fast as I can. Second question was, can you do that in a group setting? And would you be willing to do a group like that? Yes and yes on both counts. So I've done it in a group setting. It is extremely powerful. There's something about, and obviously it has to be a safe group when you're working with trauma, but the more connection and attachment you have, the more safety and support there is. And then have somebody else's process will really affect everyone else in the group at a high level. So then we do their work, and then we go back and process as a group how they were all affected, and then process how that person was affected by how the group was affected. And it just ends up in this like amazing positive spiral. So I love doing that kind of stuff. I would say, I've had a couple people ask me that. I would love to do a group like that. Probably need, 4 people minimum, and then we wouldn't get it too large. Maybe 6, probably 6 people. But definitely could do it with 3 to 4. Can still be a really powerful group. And again, message me, email me at those places I talked about before, john@gatewaycounseling.com or John the Therapist. Discuss it on the Mind Zone group on our Facebook page. So that's, again, explanation of EMDR, and would love to do a group on that. All we need is 3 or 4 people. I'd be more than happy to start it. Keep the questions coming. We do this now every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So you can email throughout the week, and I respond to all the questions that come in. Still getting the YouTube thing down a little bit, so I'm trying to take live questions, but still getting the technology down a little bit. I'm a little behind the scenes sometimes on the whole social media and some of these things, but I promise you I will get up to speed and we will get this stuff down. So EMDR, brain spotting, super powerful, can be life-changing therapies, man. I'm telling you what, like, I've just seen so many like unbelievable things happen using those therapies. And talk therapy is not going to get you there. It has to be experiential. It has to be something that is just a whole other level. And now we know how to do that, working with your body, your nervous system. And if you live somewhere else in the country or world or anywhere, I'd be more than happy to see you on a Zoom or a Skype. I can do all this stuff online. Or if you want somebody in person, I will find you somebody in your area that you can work with to do this kind of work. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Every Wednesday at 1 we'll be here, and have a great week, and I look forward to next week and getting some of your questions, and I love answering the questions and helping everyone in every way I can.